Months of political deadlock in Ireland, a new coalition government is set to take power. All the leaders of Fianna Fáil and Fine Gael and the Green Party have reached a deal that will see Micheál Martin become the next Prime Minister. Well, he'll be rotating the position with current Prime Minister and Fine Gael leader Leo Varadkar. Well, the top job will be handed back to Varadkar in December 2022. Well, the three parties have been in coalition talks since February's tightly contested general election. Left-leaning Sinn Féin, which holds the second highest number of seats in Parliament, is not a part of the coalition deal. Well, now that February election saw historic results for both Sinn Féin and Ireland's Green Party, but neither one will see its leader take the top job. Well, I'm now joined by a member of the Irish Parliament from each party, David Cullinan from Sinn Féin and Malcolm Noonan from the Greens. Well, Malcolm Noonan, I'd like to begin with you because it's a good day for the Green Party, isn't it, back in government?
Well, we're not back in government yet, and we still have to ratify this at our parliamentary party later this evening and bring it hopefully before our members for formal approval. That requires a two-third majority. So there's a significant hurdle ahead, but we're very happy with the draft programme for government, and it's a very progressive programme for government, very much a green agenda in terms of the climate and biodiversity emergency and trying to achieve a 7% reduction year on year on greenhouse gas emissions towards 2030. So that was the big ask from our point of view, and we're very happy that we have achieved that within this programme. I think it's going to be one of the most transformative programmes for government that we will have had in Ireland in probably the history of the state. So it is significant, and we do hope that our members will support it.
Significant indeed. And David Cullinan, your election win, let's say, in that election was also seen as extremely significant, wasn't it? So why were you not able to kind of get the support necessary to make it into government, and now you see yourself in opposition?
Well, first of all, my party, Sinn Féin, wanted to be in government, and just to remind your listeners that my party won the most first preference votes in the election a number of months ago. What happened is that the two biggest parties in the state previous to the election, Fianna Fáil and Fine Gael, combined to frustrate Sinn Féin's progress into election. They refused to sit down and talk to Sinn Féin. We sat down and we talked to Malcolm's party, the Greens. We talked to every other political party in this state. We tried to form a government, but unfortunately the two parties, Fianna Fáil and Fine Gael, and now with the Greens, combined to frustrate Sinn Féin's route into government. I don't believe that this programme for government that has been agreed is ambitious. There are some things in it that are good in relation to climate change, but there are massive challenges that the Irish state faces in relation to its health service, in relation to deliver public housing. There's big constitutional issues that need to be addressed in relation to a desire for a united Ireland and planning for all of that. And I don't believe that Fianna Fáil and Fine Gael, who have been in government in this state since the foundation of the state, can be trusted to deliver the types of changes that people obviously voted for.
So Malcolm Noonan, not ambitious enough, and you're not actually going to be able to deliver on that change if this coalition government is indeed ratified?
I think we can. I think that it's a very ambitious programme for government, particularly if we look at areas around importation of frack gas. That's very, very significant. The ending of the appalling situation around direct provision in this country, which has been criticised internationally. All of those, plus there is ambition there on housing, there's ambition on biodiversity, there's ambition on our health service and dealing with the fallout of the COVID crisis. So I think all of these things are significant. I do agree with David. I think it's, the results of the election in February were inconclusive. Then the pandemic hit. So it was extremely challenging within that framework to try and even negotiate a programme for government. And we did engage with Sinn Féin and in the early stages and all of the political parties. And this was the outcome that it delivered. And I do think that the Greens, disproportionate to our size, have achieved a very, very good deal here that I think will be progressive and will be seen in a European context as progressive as well.
Progressive indeed, but you were part of a government previously, but then you suffered a wipeout back in 2011. What makes you think that's not going to happen this time?
It's never been the case that the Greens are concerned about their seats. Our job, given that the scale of the crisis around climate and biodiversity, We have a short window of time to try and correct that and try and deal with it globally. We simply don't have the luxury of time to wait around. And for that purpose, we feel it's important that we go into government and try and achieve the best we can. We can see already the emissions are creeping back up again right across the world as the restrictions and the lockdowns are lifted. So from that perspective, I think it's really important that we try and go in and seize the opportunity that COVID has offered us, which is to look at a very different worldview and particularly change how we run our transportation systems, our housing, deep retrofit of our homes, and how we do business, remote working, etc. So all of these things combine to give us that chance to really change the narrative and make Ireland an exemplar rather than the laggard of Europe.
OK, we see here that the Green Party saying they really want to change the narrative. Isn't the problem for you, David Cullinan, that you haven't been able to change Sinn Féin's narrative and that you will always maintain this toxic reputation because of Sinn Féin's association to the IRA?
Not at all. The IRA is gone. And first of all, my party won the most first preference votes in the election. In fact, in my own constituency in Waterford in the southeast of Ireland, I got more first preference votes than Fianna Fáil, Fine Gael and the Green Party combined. So obviously that was on the back of people who wanted real change. And Malcolm is wrong to say that the result of the election was inconclusive. The Fianna Fáil party lost seats. The Fine Gael party lost seats. The party that won the most seats is Sinn Féin. And what happened is that Fianna Fáil and Fine Gael combined and are now supported by the Greens to exclude Sinn Féin from government. But the more and more people in Ireland see Sinn Féin as a progressive party. They see Sinn Féin as a party that's about social justice, about Irish unity, and a party that wants to deliver for the needs of ordinary working people. And the reason why Malcolm's party was wiped out the last time they were in government is because they created the worst economic crash in the history of the state. Huge austerity that was brought down on families, and people are still paying the price of that. That's the reason why the Green Party were slaughtered in the last election after they were in government. But I'm about the future. Sinn Féin is about the future, and what we want to see is real change. And you see, if Sinn Féin is excluded from government and we are the lead opposition party, our job will be to be the best opposition party that the Irish state has ever seen.
OK, just the last word briefly to you, Mr Noonan. What would you say now to what David Cullinan was saying? You were slaughtered because of these austerity rules. What makes you think that you are not going to come, that you are actually be able to ensure that Fine Gael and Fianna Fáil actually deliver on their promises?
Well, I mean, it took a long time, 5 weeks, to negotiate this programme for government. It's a very, very lengthy document, very detailed, and I think within that there's significant opportunity for us to ensure that it is delivered on. And I do, absolutely, David is correct in saying that our party suffered a huge defeat back after the last time we were in government. But we've recovered, and not just recovered, we've had our greatest ever local and European local elections and our greatest ever general election success. And that's because the Irish people want green, and they want the green agenda to be implemented. And that's what we want to do.
OK, well, many thanks to both of you. David Cullinan there from Sinn Féin and Malcolm Noonan from the Greens.